Welcome back to another session of Just Me podcast. And this morning, or today, we are joined by Neil Samworth. Neil, and I know you like to be called Sam, so I'll call you Sam. Sam, what is it? Who are you and what do you do?
What now?
Yeah.
So now I am a residential care worker.
Brilliant.
I'm looking forward to my bus pass at some point in the future. I've got a lovely missus and daughter. We have 6 cats and a 16-week-old golden retriever. All good. Very busy.
And what did you do?
Right, I was a prison officer.
And how did that, let's go back, Sam, right to the beginning. So where were you born?
I'm born in Sheffield, lad, born and bred.
Okay.
Lived in various areas, single parent family, brought up by my mum and my nan. I've just got one sister. She's a year younger than me, less 10 days. Good childhood, well loved, struggled for material things. However, that's not really important. Brought up sort of, obviously, mum was baby boomer. So it was like, respect your elders, manners, you can't hit women, all that sort of thing. Old-fashioned values. Went to school, Lidget Lane, Lidget Middle School, King Edward VII School in Sheffield. At 15, I discovered rugby. I basically got told that I shouldn't play football because I was too dirty.
But was that union rugby or league rugby?
Rugby union.
Okay.
I will tell you now, right? That definitely saved my life. Last 2 years of school, I hated school. No love of school. Didn't miss it. Not best days of my life. Best friends, but not the best days. Started playing rugby. 17, I went and played Sheffield Tigers Colts. That's Dormoor, ice rugby pitch in England, incidentally.
Wow.
Absolutely loved it. Lived for me rugby. My mum, at that time, met my stepdad when I was about 15. This is how much I love me rugby, and my mother knew. She says to me one Friday, we're getting married tomorrow. So I looked at her like, she says, look, I know you're playing rugby. Don't worry about it. It's fine. So I didn't actually go to my mum's wedding.
He just played rugby.
Yeah, I did, yeah. So I hit 20. That was a really bad time. I lost my mum. She was only 38. Fell down, banged her knee. Just a bang. She was on settee a few days, couldn't get upstairs. Doctor came to see her. Went in hospital. I saw her the first week. I'm no lover of hospitals. And she seemed all right. The second week, she picked up a bit. And then we were asked to go in. And basically, she went into a coma. And then they switched off machine. So apparently, the inquest was open, but it was an immune system shut down for whatever reason.
Wow.
So didn't particularly get on with my stepdad. I got married. I'd been engaged to a young lady for a couple of years. That sort of went awry. Got married very quickly. And then I had a rugby injury. Played up at Dormoor. I had a fractured skull. Lost some of my hearing, detached retina. I was 2 years on the hospital. I had double vision, permanent double vision for like 2 years.
Wow.
So it was a really bad period of life. At that time, when I got divorced from that young lady, I don't blame her. I had 2 mortgages, believe it or not. At 20, by 21, I'd had both houses repossessed.
Wow.
17 county court judgments.
Wow.
I was homeless at one bit, lived in a squat, but I was working. And I was also at one point, went 3 months. I don't know whether you'll remember. I think was it Norman Tebbit? Benefit-wise, he wanted people to get on the bike, stop benefit. So 16 weeks, no money. I could have gone to my nan. I chose not to. I had a dog at that time, a Doberman. It was just like a case of surviving or whatever.
Wow.
I had started my career in engineering at 17. I went back into engineering. Around about the millennium, I was bouncing, as in door work. You know, I was never one of these super hard men. People skills, communication skills. I worked for about 12 months at a wine bar in Sheffield called Hannah-Ann's. It's opposite the Allenshire Hospital. You know, loads of time at night, meet and greet. And I just needed something at that time, at a bit of a loss. Just come out of my second marriage. Again, you know, that was not a bad time at all. She was a lovely lass. We didn't really fall out. Just at a bit of a loss as what to do. And a friend's cousin, who was also a friend, he'd been on at me probably since 90s. Prison officer.
Wow.
So public sector weren't recruiting at that time. Found a private prison, Forest Bank in Salford. Applied for a job, got an interview. I remember sitting in the car park an hour before, absolutely terrified. You know, why am I doing this?
Wow.
I commuted from Sheffield for almost 12 months. I wrote 2 cars off, one at Snake Pass, one at Woodhead Pass in winter. I don't really know them 2 roads, particularly Snake Pass.
No Snake Pass, yeah.
Yeah, horrendous. Plus 1 car, a Ford Escort, I bought 50 quid. That blew up. So I just left that in a lay-by with a logbook. Decided in the interests of sanity that I would, you know, sort of relocate. However, not knowing Manchester, how big it was, Greater Manchester, I lived in various places, some of them not recommended by the lads who used to lock up. I lived in Tilsley. Tilsley is like a one-horse town, yeah? Village mentality. First time I went in a pub, Green Dragon, spoke up with my Yorkshire accent. I was told to get outside in the car park sort of thing. Who are you?
Wow.
Anyway, I never had a fight in Tilsley. I lived there probably 12 months, made a lot of friends, got to know everyone in the village, as it were. I lived in Lee, Wigan Road. I lived behind a pub where everyone used to dump their cars and torch them, set them on fire. First time I saw my neighbours, there was a young lad who used to lock up at Forest Bank. He just got out, so yeah, all good. I lived at Rochdale, Whitworth, again. That's another village mentality. Some strange pubs, sort where you have big ashtrays, put your car keys in them, and go home with different ladies at the end of the night. I never partook in that. However, the drinking all night, yeah, definitely had some of that. So Forest Bank, yeah, tough gig, real tough gig. I think my arse were twitching all day long from when I first started to when I left.
Wow.
Quite frightening. At that time, there was 86 on a wing, 86 prisoners, 2 staff. More often than not, one of the staff was new to the job. Incidents every day. Wow. Because of my sort of physical presence and being able to talk, you know, communicate, I was involved in a lot of sort of incidents, what you call planned removals. There's two sort of incidents: spontaneous, which is what it says when it just kicks off, and planned, where you'll get kitted up, go to a cell, and either remove someone by force, or more often than not, they surrender.
Wow. Lots
and lots of incidents. Anyway, I did my time there. I was involved in an incident in the segregation unit. A lad was assaulted by one of my senior officers. That's like a manager. It was uncalled for. It ended up with, I think there was 6 of us got suspended.
Wow.
Pending investigation. The usual thing that happens is nobody saw anything, yeah? So 5 days me pondering, speaking to friends, what do I do? People wouldn't even, really close friends wouldn't say, or you need to say what happens or whatever. They were like, oh, it's your choice or whatever. Anyway, I decided I was going to tell the truth, which I did. My part in the incident, my manager's part in the incident, the moment I put my statement in, I was suspended.
Wow.
Some had already been suspended. My manager was suspended the moment my statement went in. Because there were so many people off work, the number one governor said to the Home Office, who do the investigations, because they're independent, private prison, obviously you can't do your own investigations like that because you might be biased. They did it within a month. I think I was involved in 8 interviews, 3.5 hours. Other lads involved changed the statements multiple times, told porkies on tape. My manager actually blamed me.
Wow.
The reason was that night, so this lad ended up with a broken nose, yeah? My manager punched him in the face. He was under restraint in handcuffs behind his back. The lad went mad. He accused me. There was my manager there, 2 other lads. First time we let him out of his cell to speak to his solicitor to report the assault, he blamed me and then somebody else. My manager, I suspected, I looked at him. He's looking at me. There was a prison governor there who was looking at me like guilty. Thought, yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, I told the truth. I got reinstated. 6 months later, I'm still not back at work.
Wow.
And then the company did their own investigation based on the evidence, the Home Office that had cleared me and found me guilty of falsifying paperwork and assault. So I had to go through a disciplinary again with our number one governor this time. And the end result was that I ended up sat next to the number one governor, opposite my manager, who got a union rep, arguing the toss.
Wow.
He was saying it was me, but he weren't very convincing at all. And he ended up losing his job eventually.
Wow.
So,
wow.
The thing is, with prison, with anything like that, I remember going to a wedding. I've been suspended for about 5 months. I went to a wedding. Sort of so-called mates were there, turning your back on you, like really, really bad atmosphere. Whether it's, for whatever reason, you're like a scumbag or whatever. Shocking, really. I did go back to work there, not long. Very disillusioned. I then applied for public sector. Go work at HMP Manchester, formerly known as Strangeways.
Wow.
Found a job working in a kids' home, took that, got out of Forest Bank, and then I was just waiting on Strangeways and a start date, which eventually turned up.
And how long were you at Strangeways for?
So I was there 11 years, but
amazing.
My last 11 months, I was on the sick, not in a good place. So I'm realizing that I ain't let you. I can talk all day, me. So if you want to ask anything, fire away.
So what have you learned along the way then? Because the book that I read, A Prison Officer's Story, is just it's a brilliant book. I mean, it's shocking, it's dark, it's humorous at times, but it's a real insight, isn't it, into a prison officer's life, like for real, for every day of what you go through.
Yeah, it is. The book itself, when it come out, so I was worried about that. When we actually did the book, I weren't in the best place yet, but I decided, honest, like the mental health side of it, just tell it how it is, really open and honest about it. I was worried how it'd be received. I was worried how some of my close friends would receive it. I shouldn't have worried about that. I remember one lass who I worked with close, she was like, what, why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you tell us what you were going through? And, really, really well received. Obviously, you get the negative side.
Of course.
These lads, he weren't involved in that incident. This never happened. It's on other people's stories. Now, there is other people's stories in the book. You will recount. I don't know whether you remember the shampoo bottle. Yeah. So I did say, you know, that's not my story. However, worthy of a mention, add a bit of humour into what is a otherwise dark story. So for me, what did I learn in my 10 years, right? I met some amazing people, both sides of the door.
I mean, you mentioned that and some of the camaraderie with your fellow officers, but also some of the insights into the prisoners as well, I thought was really touching, especially when you worked in the medical unit and stuff. I thought
And healthcare,
really lovely. Yeah, I thought that was a really lovely insight.
Right, so I'll tell you, it's a true story. This, I'll tell you, it'll give you an idea. This isn't blowing smoke up my ass. This is something that happened. So there were a lot of really ill people. There were one lad who's now changed his name. So obviously I had the book out, and then I think it was 2020 I started a YouTube channel. Yeah. So from the book, I started getting messages. I got one from a lad. I won't say his name now. Only to protect him, really. He was really, really ill at the time. He come on healthcare, awaiting to go to hospital, and he assaulted me quite badly. The second time, really badly. And he emailed me and he was apologising. He said, "I don't really remember me." I knew he was straight away. You know, I replied, "Yeah, of course I did." Boom, he got me a good one. And he went, "You know, look, I'm terribly sorry about that. I weren't well." I says, "It's fine, you know."
Wow.
But he says, at the time, I remember assaulting you. He says, obviously I was unwell, but I'd done it. I knew I'd done it. And I remember pressing my bell because, you know, I was in a bit of distress, crisis or whatever. And you came to the door, you know, and started speaking to me, asked me whether I wanted a cup of tea and that. And you were just talking to me in a civil manner, you know, when like 20 minutes before, I practically taking your head off. And he says, you know, I found that really sort of hard to. He couldn't get over it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then there's another lad who's now a good friend. He came onto healthcare. He was medically unwell. He was waiting to go to hospital. He literally come on over dinner, so he was on there an hour.
Wow.
Yeah, they brought him on from the wing because ambulance was going to come up, take him to hospital. And I remembered his face. I didn't remember the story. So he said, because he was on there and he didn't have a cell, I sat with him in the association room. That's where he used to play pool, watch TV with the prisoners, like, or patients. So within half an hour, I knew about him. He'd been abused as a 15-year-old. And that sort of, you know, when we talk about choices, yeah, you do have choices in life, but sometimes events, you know, something will change your life.
Yeah.
And you go off on a different path. Now, the thing was, right, he was a fit lad. He was a Thai boxer. He was brutally sexually assaulted by two grown men. He didn't feel he could tell his mum or dad.
Wow.
So basically, he remembers getting home, you know, shouldering that responsibility. Within a very short period of time, got into heroin, and then, you know, crime, drugs, prison. But he recounted what had happened in this very short period of time. And I just sort of said, you know, look, you're not to blame for what happened. And he's sort of looking at me like, and he said, he contacted me a couple of years ago when he got out of prison. I met him. He recounted it. He said that changed my way of thinking. Now, I always said, me, we don't rehabilitate people. But he said that half an hour, you sitting down listening to me, I didn't know you, you didn't know me, just saying, like, you know, you're not responsible for what happened or whatever. He says it changed my way of thinking. He said it quite definitely did. Life-changing moment. Yeah, he did go back to prison, but his mindset changed about everything, you know.
Amazing.
Accepted that he weren't to blame for what had happened. difficult thing, you know, grown men talking about, well, basically being raped or whatever.
Oh.
But he's a good friend now. We chat all the time.
Oh, lovely.
Interviewed him a few times. And so what I learned that treating people and speaking to people, I want to be spoke to and tret the sen, as we say in Yorkshire.
Mm.
You know, it pays dividends.
Mm.
I always put people at face value. People say respect is earned. But, you know, in prison, you know, I only had half an hour with that guy. I didn't know him from Adam. I used to take people at face value. So you give them a chance. It's up to them to spoil that chance you're giving them.
Mm.
I always did that. You know, I didn't take things personally. If I was assaulted, I didn't take things personally. And more often than not, if somebody caused an incident as well, prisoners, might not be immediately, but at some point, pretty much all of them apologize for their behavior.
Wow.
You know, so first contact might be me in reception restraining someone. Yeah. You might see him a month later. You're right, boss. I'm sorry about that. You know, I was a bit upset or what. And yeah.
Wow.
So, but definitely treating people right. And the thing is, if you treat people and speak to people right, other people watching, particularly when I worked on K-Wing with 200 prisoners, you know, if I'm on the twos landing and then there's two landings above me, you know, you're having an argument or a ding dong with someone. They're all watching and listening.
Yeah.
You know, they see how you behave.
Yeah.
So very soon, you know, you either become a decent officer who's going to sort stuff out and treat people right, or you're a dog and they get ignored. Because some people are dogs. You know, they used to bark at people.
Wow.
And they would ultimately cause trouble. A lot of time as well, it's about sort of yin and yang. So if I'm working with someone who is not nice, shouting at people, don't do anything for people, hated, they'll get away with doing nothing and being left alone.
Yeah.
Off my back, as it were.
Yeah.
People know what they're like. So if a new lad's on the wing, one of the wing cleaners go and see Mr. S, he'll sort that out. Keep away from him. That's what they do.
Wow. And what keeps you going? Because I mean, you mentioned in your book, I mean, you hit some really tough times, didn't you? What kept you going, or what keeps you going when things get tough, Sam?
Right. So you know, you talk about tough character and resilience and that. I don't know. I don't know whether they are a thing. People talk about it. For me, you know, it's just what are your choices? Yeah. You know, I'm not saying that I've never, you know, I've had some low period. This year has been a shocker. You know, we all have a stress level. We can take a good amount of stress. This year, probably going into this year, pretty stressed, and then it's just built. A couple of months ago, our family pet Labrador, Stephen, we had to have him put to sleep. For a month, my head fell right off. But, you know, if I go back to 2021, so my last shift was September 5th, 2015. I got finished August 2nd, 2016 by the prison service. I didn't work till January 2023.
Wow.
Got a job as a residential care worker here.
Wow.
I had some income from the book. In Manchester, we were proper on his ass when I lost my job. My missus just went out. She hadn't worked, bringing up my daughter. Just went out and she worked. She ran at house like 16, 17 hours a day, working in community.
Wow.
So she supported us. Moved to Wakefield.
Wow.
Got a mortgage. I mean, when we moved here, I'm laughing now. When we moved here, I had a bit of income from the book that were dropping off. My missus packed a job in, so we basically moved here with a big mortgage and no income.
Wow.
Again, my missus went out, got a job working in dementia. 2021, that was a tough year. So obviously the book's been out a couple of 3 years then. I had my second book.
Mm-hmm.
So 2021, I'm at home all the time. Missus working. My daughter's not well. I know she's not well. She's not eating right. I said that to the missus. Being a dad and being at home, what kids are like, you know, they don't clear the pots or anything. I'm emptying the bins. She's not eating. So I made her appointment at doctors. We got her in with doctors. I think we waited probably 8 weeks to get her in with CAMS, which is Child Mental Health Services.
Mm-hmm.
And then August 2021, she was diagnosed with anorexia.
Wow.
We already knew that. She was ill at that point. September 4th, 2021, I had a massive heart attack. 20 minutes from death, pretty much. The ambulance that actually come was on another call. It was 4 hours waiting time at that time, so I'd have been brown bread me if they hadn't have. They diverted themselves. You know, and said we'll go to that one, make it priority. And then 2 weeks after I got out of hospital, my daughter's in hospital being fed through a tube. So,
wow,
shocking. 2022, my missus packed working. I couldn't manage my daughter. I was doing my best. She was so ill. And my missus spent 6 months every day, conservatory now. We got a little table, 2 chairs. She'd sit with her 3 times a day, 2.5, 3 hours, trying to eat food, breakfast, dinner, tea.
wow.
I remember one day, I wanted to say, just leave it. They were arguing about a yogurt, eating a yogurt, 2-3 hours. And in the end, my daughter ate it.
Wow.
So like 2022, bare bones of his ass again, selling cars, selling things to manage. And then 2023, I got a job and really we took this house on like a lot of people do. You both need to be working.
Yeah.
So my missus worked excessively up to packing in to look after my daughter. And then I've pretty much done the same sort of thing.
Wow.
But this year, there's this a legal matter I can't talk about to do with my first book. That appeared, new roof on house, boiler packs in, daughter not so well, another close family member not so well. And it was stacking up. And like I said, losing my dog. Final straw, no routine. Sleep went to rat shit. But like I say, you just keep going. These, you know.
Wow. And what if you could go back to a younger Sam? What advice would you give your younger self?
None.
Wouldn't you?
No. I have absolutely no regrets. I mean, my nan used to say, you know, better to regret having done something than not. Brilliant. And I do agree with that in the biggest part. But no, I wouldn't. You know, like people say, oh, would you have got your head down? No, I wouldn't have done anything different. You know, I had a good childhood, a lot of happy memories. I think sadly, when you look back, because my mum died so young, Tony, he was my dad, but we call him Tony because dad suggests something to me, suggests somebody who were there who, you know, so he was a nothing because she sort of brought us up. I saw her struggle, you know, she'd work what people would see as 3 meaningless jobs. You know, my nan would look after us. She struggled to bring us up. She got with my stepdad, just started enjoying life, and then she was gone. So, I just think that's tragic. And then there's something else that a lot of people, unless they're orphaned at a young age, you know, when I was in the prison service, you got guys older than me. Oh, I'm going to go and see my mum this weekend and stuff like that. That close family contact, you know, with your mum and dad or whatever. I've always felt a bit of not on my own, not alone.
Yeah.
But, you know, just a bit of an emptiness, I think.
Yeah. And what advice would you give to others based on, I mean, because I urge people to read your first book because I just think it's amazing. But what advice would you give to other people?
Treat people and speak to people. I only spoke to her and treat yourself, basically, you know. And I now know I've got way more friends now than I used to lock up than I have prison officers.
Wow.
Yeah, a few close friends. Obviously, you drift apart or whatever.
Mm.
But, you know, when you look at people, we're very easy to judge, don't we? If someone's been to prison,
yeah, far too quickly.
The childhoods a lot of lads had were shocking.
Yeah,
absolutely shocking. So again, yeah, you have choices, but you know, I've got a mate whose dad were an armed robber. He grew up with shotguns under bed and money everywhere, you know. So as a kid, he'd go out and draw, take 20 quid or whatever. What do you expect people are gonna, you know, turn out like?
I know. Yeah.
So just not to be judgmental and treat people, you know, you don't know what they're going through or they've been through. I mean, there's no excuse for bad behaviour. Always said that with mental health. My manager used to say, you know, having poor mental health is no excuse for bad behaviour. However, you know, you can see why some people turn out like they do.
Yeah, definitely. And what legacy would you like to leave behind, Sam?
What legacy? Just that I've been a decent person.
Oh, lovely.
You know, played rugby hard, always played hard. Probably known for that. You know, I was never going to be highest try scorer or whatever.
Absolutely.
Look after my family. You know, I've looked after my family just best I can. Just as being a decent person, really, which I'm quite sure. I've always been there for people. A lot of people, you know, close and not so close. You know, I don't want putting on a pedestal or anything like that.
No.
Just being a decent person, really.
It's really nice. And what we call it a fizzy pop moment when you kind of do something in your life and it kind of feels like fizzy pop in your tummy. What sort of gives you that feeling? I mean, it's lovely that you've just said that you've got a lot of friends now from, you know, people who are on the inside. But what gives you that sort of fizzy pop?
Helping people, I think.
Does it? How lovely.
And I know people say that helping people, you know, helps you, but it definitely does. And the other thing, I think, it makes you really, really humble. I use, you know, for you know, to have helped someone through, you know, a bad phase, but also how people respond to you, you know, thanking you. It's not, you know, like I said, I don't want people tapping me on the back or it's just having helped people and you know, and then they move on.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need to be in the pot. I'll tell you one. This is so when I started YouTube, I got a message one day. I showed my missus. It was anonymous on Messenger. Well, no, it's the last now, obviously, but it was I can't remember. Red something, Red Dawn or something like that, right? It just said, "Sam, I need your help." So I just replied, "How can I help you?" So, cut long story short, it's the last. She's on loads of meds. She's in a physically and mentally abusive relationship. She's got 2 teenage kids. Everyone thinks he's you know, the best dad ever. You know, what do I do? So I just started a little bit of advice. Says, right, first thing, if you can't function on meds, you need to either cut your meds down, you know, titrate yourself off them, but let people believe you're still taking them so that you can function. So she started doing that.
Wow.
And then it got to a point where she said, I think he's going to kill me. I said, right, you just get your kids and you leave. I've got nowhere to go. You just need to leave, you know. And our lass is saying, someone might be testing you here. You know, how do you know this? But I said, listen, if somebody come to me, I knew in this situation, this is what I'd be saying.
Yeah.
So over 2 years, she sent me pictures. She got out with the kids, sofa surfed. I think the kids were 12 and 13. She lived in some refuges. And believe me, some of them places, she sent me a picture. I thought she was in prison. Wow. It was a high wall with razor wire. She said, no, that's to stop people getting in.
Wow.
Anyway, she's on my social media now. She works. She's down south. Both the kids have left school. You know, she looks happy as Larry. And that's all she wanted. But, you know, it's nice to see that journey.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
you know, she said, I'd love to meet one day. We might never will, but it just started as a, but again, I'm not telling you to say,
no,
it's just,
mm.
you know, a text message. When she got my phone number, I just text her. I've had other people who I'll never ever meet who are down. You know, thanks for your help, Sam. I don't think we're speaking again. So you send a message. Why? What are you going to do? Are you going to take your own life? You thought about this? How are you going to do it? Just responding how you would to people you knew or whatever.
Beautiful. That's amazing. That's a great story. And what one word would you use to describe yourself, Sam?
That's a tough one, that. I don't think anyone's ever asked me that. One word. I would like people to think that I were modest.
Okay.
I'll
take that.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
It's so funny, Sam. I mean, I read your book a short while ago, and I, do you know, not every page, but every now and again, I was like, oh, I want to meet him. I just want to meet this person. And obviously, you know, we reached out and we've met now. You're everything the book says, but you're 10 times more. It's really lovely. And the thing that I love about what you've been saying is just be real, be the person, you know, communicate. And so that is, honestly, I think that's the best lesson in life, isn't it?
This is what I tell people, right? I have never, ever put anyone off joining the prison service. Hundreds of messages, yeah, over the years, hundreds. You know, I'm thinking going in. So, you know, I'm like sort of a bit of background for, are you a family man? Yeah. Have you got a trade? Yeah. Okay. Give it a go. You can always go back to your trade.
Brilliant.
Forewarned is forearmed.
Yeah.
You know, I've said it on my YouTube channel, just how it is.
Yeah.
I always say to people, be yourself. Don't try and be something you're not, because you will get caught out.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Treat people again and speak to people how you want to spoke to and treat yourself. And again, we've already talked about be humble.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're going into that job, that's what you need to do.
Just brilliant.
I suppose that's a good sort of mantra for life, really.
It is. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Sam, amazing. Seriously, thank you.
No worries.
Really lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you.
And you. Thanks.
Speak soon.
Thank you.